Well, what's up, YouTube? Poor.Mans.Podcast back with another video. Today's video is going to be, you mad that he is content with or without you? All right, now before I get into the video, I got to do the YouTube stuff. The goal is 15,000 subscribers by June. It's a crazy goal, it's a big goal, but it's my goal. All right, and the only way I'm going to get to my goal is if y'all give me the HBO special. You know what the HBO special is? That's the Help a Brother Out special, all right? So go in and help a brother out. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. I'm going to give y'all a second to do that. All right, now let's get to it. You mad that he is content with or without you? Let's see what she got to say.
You know, I'm one of those pages, you either going to come to me to laugh or to think. But we're always going to talk about the real, and we're going to address accountability. And today is definitely one of those days. I've always been a solid woman. I'm non-biased in my opinions. If I can hand it to the fellas, I'm going to definitely hand it to the ladies, and I don't give two fucks.
That's fair.
Can you women explain why there's so many good fathers and good men that's on child support, that's going through the system? Why is it that there's so many good fathers that don't have access to their children because you want to be a bitch about things? Because you want to control shit? So the fuck what he didn't want your funky ass? So the fuck what he dogged you out? So the fuck what shit didn't happen the way that you planned? That's life. Oh well, maybe his character might be fucked up. He might need to mature in certain areas. Doesn't mean that he's not a great father or a great provider for his child or his children.
And I say this every single time. So many people get confused. So many people get mixed up with taking care of a baby mom and taking care of a child. All right. And a lot of times I'm trying to tell y'all, we ain't supposed to talk about this. We're not allowed to talk about this. All right. But a lot of times it be that baby mom trying to be with that man and using the child as a crutch to get to him. All right. Because she knows he's a good dad and he wants to take care of his kids. All right. But she wants to be taken care of too. And she feels like just because she had the kid with him, that gives her a lifetime pass to being taken care of. No, it doesn't. Just because he isn't, trying to be with you doesn't mean he ain't trying to take care of his children. So many times do we ignore that fact and just look at a dad as being a bad dad. And we don't talk about mothers being bad mothers or mothers using children as a weapon to certain guys. We never talk about that situation. And it should be talked about because it's so common. I actually think it's more common than dudes just walking away from their children. Most of the time, dudes don't walk away from children. They walk away from situations. If the situation isn't good, and it usually involves the woman, he'll walk away from it. If the woman ain't allowing him to see his child, he may be paying the child support and he doesn't even get to see his kids. And that's just the power we give women in today's society. Let's continue.
But the thing about it is that a lot of you chicks are moved on with your life. You got a whole other nigga in your life. Married and then some. You still want to keep coming for him.
It's crazy.
Like, he happy that you are moved on with your life, and you mad that he happy. You mad that he content. With or without you, bitch. You done done everything you could possibly do to try to hurt this man, and he still take those L's and he still take those blows, and the nigga still persevere and push through.
And that's what I always tell men. All right, the best thing you can do in a situation where you feel like you got to level up or something happens in a relationship and it doesn't go the way you want it, or y'all end up breaking up tragically, she ends up cheating on you or whatever it may be, is to absolutely not care. That's the worst thing you could, that's the best get back, quote unquote, is to better yourself and not care about what a person is doing. All right, if a person has gotten to the point where they've disrespected your relationship and you don't want nothing to do with the situation, don't care and just see how it affects. Just see how it affects the situation. I absolutely don't care. People will go off into a whole nother relationship and still they want you to care. And if you just don't care, a lot of the times the situation end up in your favor. But there's also this part of this too. It's always weird to me that a lot of women say that they are independent but need child support. They are independent, but they need government aid. Okay, that is a complete dependency. Regardless of if you're dependent on child support or dependent on the government, it can't be counted as independence if you are dependent on one of those entities for financial benefits. Does that make sense? And this has gotten so out of control that in the case of rich men, wealthy men who have to pay certain amounts per month, a woman can get married to a whole nother man. All right. And quote unquote, for the sake of the child, another dude will be, or her ex-boyfriend that happened to be a millionaire, let's just say a millionaire for a say, will be giving a woman $5,000 for a child a month. And of course, that's not a ton for a millionaire, but it's the principle of the matter. What child needs $5,000 worth of Fruit Loops? These women will go out and get married to a whole nother man and still depend on child support to fund their lifestyles. It's absolutely outrageous. All right, and these things should be looked at in court, but we talk about equality. We never talk about these situations. And anytime I have conversations with women about these situations, they just say, well, you shouldn't have done this and this and that. So we have the same mentality when it comes to single motherhood. There are so many things you can do to prevent single motherhood nowadays that it's absolute choice. There's birth control before the fact. There's plan Bs after the fact. There's abortion's worst case scenario. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm for it, but if you're not in a position to take care of your child financially, you got to consider what world are you bringing this child into, and don't think selfishly. Because sometimes women are thinking selfishly when they say, I want to have this kid, because they know the effects that it will bring socially to have the abortion, or how they may feel for a while mentally when they have the abortion. So sometimes since you laid down, you got to chalk that up. You decided to lay down. You decided not to take the plan B. You decided not to take any kind of birth control. So now it's on you. You got to do what you got to do if you don't feel like you're in a position to provide for that child. And it's sad to say, but that's a situation that so many people are in. And I'd rather that happen than you actually bring a child into the world, they go out and kill somebody and end up in prison. Because like we know, they're less likely to graduate. If you're from a single parent mother or a single mother household, you're less likely to graduate and more likely to go to prison. Less likely to get married, more likely to have a child out of wedlock. So the cycle continues. Let's continue the video.
So then you bring your black ass to social media and talk about how you can't find you a good man. No, you can't find a punk bitch. There's a difference. You females, you don't want to build with a man. You want to build a man. So what you funky, miserable ass bitches do is you take your daughters and you rob them access to their fathers, so that you can inbred them with that same toxicity and hatred that you have towards me. And then you want to do that same foul shit to your son. Deny him access to his father so that you can control his manhood and rear him to be that bitch nigga you never had in your life. Y'all want to talk about generational curses. Now let's get into it. Truth be told, a lot of you females have forced your way into a guy's life anyway. I mean, come on, we all know that mistakes happen. And even with the mistake happening, he necessarily didn't even want you or the child. He was okay. I'm supposed to play as a man. I'm going to own up to my responsibility.
Bingo.
And be the best father I know how. But because he still didn't choose you, you want to make hell for a nigga, right? You miserable ass bitch. And then you want to come to social media with this woe is me attitude. Like, come on now. Bitch, you knew the rules of engagement. Up here, sitting here posting memes and shit as if you trying to throw shade towards nigga, That shit don't move him. That shit don't move anybody. All you are is hurt, boo. And take your hurt ass some motherfucking way and get healed. That's what the fuck you need to do. Stop creating memes and create a fucking life for yourself. How about that? And
Facts. And I have a perfect example of this situation when I was in junior college. There's a girl, one of the best athletes out. All right. Super to herself. She always she was a decent person, but so many times did we see this happen. She chased a dude on a team that wasn't necessarily the good guy. You know what I mean? So he's the guy that's willing to have sex with every girl on the team and not really care. And this tends to be the guy that most of these women want. I have no idea why, but this just seems to be innately in their genetics or DNA or propaganda. I don't know where it comes from, but they seem to be inclined to go after this guy. So she did go after the guy. All right. She went from being the number one jumper in NJCAA, which is National Junior College, and all her Division I scholarships, she got pregnant. So her Division I scholarship started going out the window. All right, so it affected her life in the long run. She got pregnant and she wanted to tie the man down. And so she had the baby and the man went off and went back home because, junior college is only for 2 years. So once that situation was over, he went back home and she went back home. And now she went, and as soon as it was over, she started going to social media, whining and complaining when everybody told her from the get-go, you don't want to get involved with this man. She decided to take the hard route. And now she, certain opportunities she can never get again. And you got to chalk that up to the game. Don't go now and start complaining to social media because you didn't heed anybody's warnings. You did what you wanted to do, not what you should do. And so now you're in a situation where it ain't the ideal situation. That's something you got to live with. Let's continue.
Always, if it don't apply, let it fly, boo-boo.
Oh, okay. Is that the end of the video? Okay, looks like that's the end of the video. Again, I love having videos. Oh, I didn't say this yet, but just final thoughts, because that's the end of the video. I love having videos where black women are talking about these subjects because they are so important. All right. Hold other black women accountable. It's important. All right. Hold women in general accountable for their actions. You can't just play the victim once you make decisions that are horrible and try to act like it was everybody else's fault and not your own. You were the one that made the decision not to take any kind of preventative, you know what I mean? Any kind of, you made the decision to not take any kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, anti-pregnancy, whatever. You made a decision, and then you made the decision not to take a plan B. You made the decision not to get an abortion. You made that decision. So now that you have a child, don't blame it on somebody else. There are too many options nowadays. And I'm happy that a black woman in particular, was holding other women accountable, because sometimes women don't want to listen to these messages unless they come from other women. Because if a man says the same message, he's a bigot, he's a misogynist, he's this and this and that. Instead of them considering the fact that he has their best interest in mind, they don't consider that, because women are taught to think that anytime a man has any opinion on them, it's them, or it's him trying to impose his will upon a woman. So that's a mentality for another video. We gotta do something about that. Women, you can take criticism from men. Not all men are against you. Not all men want to kill you or whatever you think that men are. Most of us are just regular guys working really hard to get by in life because we realize that life is very hard. Till next time.